Cool. Greetings. I always say greetings. Let me stop saying greetings. It's so fucking cool in here. I'm gonna stop it. Sorry, let me start again.
You're gonna make me laugh before I can start.
Let me not say greetings.
Just saying, it's gonna make me...
Anything but greetings. I don't want to say wagwan and I don't want to say greetings.
Just say greetings.
Good evening. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Don't Judge the Book by the Author. My name is Robin Travis. I am your host today, your podcast official. Today I have a special guest with me. I say that all the time, and every time I say it, it might sound like I'm being cliche. And every time I say it, I add a little twist to it, which gives it more zinc. But honestly, today is another special guest because I kind of know parts of the story of the individual, and when I read a book of an author that I know and I separate myself from the author, it's amazing to give the feedback that I've been able to give. So yeah, she's a special guest because not just because I know her, because what she's written's outdone what I even expected of her, if I'm honest with you, without judgment. But that's honest observation for a book that I want to share with people called Love, Money and Music. Love, Money and Music, people. Dropped September the 4th, I believe it was. Book launch was about 2 weeks ago in Shoreditch. It was an amazing launch. I want to introduce to you guys the author of this masterpiece here, Deneal Francis.
Hi.
Thanks for being here, Francis. Miss Francis, should I say. Yeah, it's a pleasure having you.
Good to be here.
First and foremost. Just because, like I said in the introduction, I didn't expect this from yourself, not in a disrespectful way. I've heard that about myself, so yeah. I don't know how that sounds to receive on the other end, but I didn't expect this level of writing. When people say, yeah, I want to write a book, and you know them, and you've written a book, you're like, okay, do they understand what it entails, and can they even write? Yeah. That's the main thing, because everyone wants to write a book, but can you write? And you can definitely write, so just wanted to commend and applaud that first of all, to separate that from the women. And there's another girl I want to big up as well. There's two people that I know personally who I think are amazing writers, and it's been boggling my mind as to how dope they are. Naisha Jones and Deneal Francis, people. I've said the names today. Yeah, I'm blown away, and I know both of them, one from primary school and one from the age of secondary school, and I've been reading some books this month from both of them, and yeah, so stay tuned. Deneal Francis and Naisha Jones, mark my words. Love, Money and Music. So let's get straight into the book. I read this book about 3 months ago, I believe. It was about 3 months ago, before you put it.
Yeah.
And when I read the book, I was like, wow, this is not Prisoner to the Street, but it's the same time as Prisoner to the Street. And it's through the lens of a sister. And being a father to daughters, I'm always intrigued to know the lens of young females, but this was captured in a way where I think it's not only relatable to people from our time, it's very relatable to the youth of today and the pressures that young girls face growing up in communities such as where you grew up, North London, Hornsey's, Tottenham's, Wood Greens, Edmonton, Enfield, if that's still classed as London, I'm not sure if it is. So yeah, just these areas, they're very, well, when I was younger, Enfield wasn't so tested, but now it is. So yeah, the book for me was about a young lady who has to navigate herself through the era of Prisoners to the Street, if you like. It's a time where boys were, from our side, getting into a lot of chaos without understanding, and then from our side also looking at females probably being confused as to why females moved the way they moved
Yeah.
And for me, you was able to construct something that broke it down. So yeah, let's talk about it. Deneal, welcome. Seriously, man, happy to have you here, man. I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment because I know this is actually a powerful story that came from the soul. So yeah, please tell us about the main character of this book, Shanice, and what was the inspiration behind this story? Who was you collating the story behind? Who is Shanice?
So Shanice is, I would say she's a number of females that we know. So she's my friend, she's my my mother, my aunties.
Mm-hmm.
She's a black female generally. So I feel like even though Shanice grew up in our times, I believe her story is relatable to older people as well as younger people, because it's just generally her whole story is a female story, like a lot of things that females would relate to. And not only would females relate to it, obviously males would relate to it, just like I could relate to your books from a female perspective, knowing what I've seen from the other side. You could see the other side as males and see what females are going through and what they've seen from that side. So Shanice was inspired by all the people that I know in my lifetime, you might as well say. And she's been put into one individual to tell a story.
So what's, to give some of the viewers a background of Shanice, what age does this story start telling? Is this story being told about Shanice?
So
what age does it begin? I don't know, so what age does it begin?
So it begins from birth, basically. So it talks about her before she was even there. So although it goes into her childhood through secondary school to adulthood, it starts, so the storytelling starts in the foundations, which is the first chapter. It touches on what was happening before her birth, so in regards to her grandparents coming over from Jamaica and the Windrush, and like her parents' generation, so being the first generation Jamaican born in the UK, what they went through, and then most of us are the product of that. So our grandparents are from the Caribbean or Africa, and then, you know, our parents are born here, and then so it's a story of the second generation, I'd say.
Yeah, being that it's Black History Month, I would say that it's an important topic, especially the Windrush era that you brought in, that side of things. For me, I know why that's important, but why for some people who wouldn't understand, why would you feel like it's important to add the Windrush part of your story, in your story? Why do you feel like
because
someone needs to know about the Windrush?
I think it's important to let people know that, you know, our grandparents were asked over here, and that's where it started from. And even though they was asked to come here to help build the UK, etc., they went through a lot during that time. So I really wanted to push forward that the prejudice that they went through then, a lot of us still faced as we got older. So it was really important to put that in, because I talk about, you know, things that Caribbeans and black people had to do to help each other. So, you know, like there's things mentioned like partner, like, and normal Joe Blogs isn't going to know what the partner is, but we still do that. Some people still do that to today. Them days it may have been £1, £2, but it's all part of the culture, and it's just all the building of where we come from, what we do, just little things. And so within the foundations, in regards to like talking about a lot of the grandparents and stuff, I feel like a lot of people relate to. My grandma used to say that, oh yeah, I remember that in my grandparents' house, and it's like a crossover between the old culture and the new culture. So
I think one of the reasons why I asked that is because you answered it already eloquently. It's because I feel like that's a really historical part of our journey, and the identity that we search for at these ages, it's connected to that. Yeah. So a lot of not belonging or wanting to be around your peers who look like you, however they behave, you just want to fit in. And I think that sometimes we've gone about it in the wrong ways. And a lot of those groups are also perceived based on being around a group of other black people. But again, that comes from our parents, I believe, who were the first born in this country, most of us. And they didn't feel like they belonged. A lot of them didn't know where they fit in. Some of them were perceived as coconuts, or whatever you want to call it, for talking too English, or the opposite for being too Caribbean. So it was like they were faking it for being Caribbean. So the identity crisis has been passed on to us, but I think we were weirdly more settled, because our parents went through it. I don't think that's such a historical story for me, the Windrush. I feel like it's such an important story. We are part of history.
Yeah.
We should be studied in Black History Month. This is a part of Black history, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked that question. It's an important piece of literature. It explains what a second-born Windrush child, female, had to go through living in Northern Ireland. So you going back for me really opens the story. But yeah, I want to go into something that I identified quite early as well, the absent father role within in Shanice's upbringing. I know she had her dad around, but I believe that was also something that misshaped her confidence, I would say, and kind of draw her to those groups. I don't want to say too much about the book, but yeah, would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I really wanted to highlight the fact of, like I said, Shanice's dad was in and out of her life. So I know some people, their dad's just out.
Yeah.
But within Shanice, I wanted to show the parts of, you know, because Shanice did have that, she was always sort of longing for that fatherly relationship. And I think, I'm not saying all females that grow up without fathers or fathers in and out look for it within a man, but it does sort of shape what sort of standards to expect. If you haven't got a man to show you how to be treated and what not to expect and what you should expect, I mean, you form your own judgment of it, of what you see or what's been given to you. And I think that was something that needed to be put out there, you know, that this affects not only females but males as well, not having their fathers. A lot of guys who don't have their dads around then didn't have anyone to teach them how to be a dad, so they're navigating that themselves as well. So I feel like absent fathers, just to break it down, for males, they don't know how to be a man. They don't know not to be a man, because they may learn that from their friends or uncles and stuff, but how to be a father, like have that presence. And for females, they don't know what to expect from a man based on not having a man around the house. So.
Yeah, I agree, but again, I want to shout out to my black people first and foremost. I want to say that as I'm getting older, I'm having a deeper understanding of, that's probably why I'm asking these questions and even touching on this, a deeper understanding of, and that's what this book made me connect to, of the history of us. So I don't even look at a black absent father from my age as a bad person necessarily, unless I know the details down to the T, because it's that, it's a black absent father from the firstborn Windrush who suffered trauma from being a black man growing up in this country, and issues of a mother who came from the Windrush who left her siblings at home and her grand, and people were very much disconnected from love. And before that, 300 years of slavery. 100%. So for me, I don't look at it with any other culture and compare. I say this is a fractured society for whatever reason a man is in there. But there's a long stem history as to why those parents. Only now we're becoming conscious, and that's why I'm not judging.
And that's why I do want to put out there that although a lot of my friends, I know males and stuff, grew up without fathers, there's so many amazing fathers that I know now. So just because these individuals grew up without their dads and don't know their dads or whatever, or dads in and out, doesn't reflect on what fathers they've become today. So I look around and there's many black males that are excellent, great fathers. I couldn't say a bad word, you know what I mean? No one's perfect.
No one's perfect.
But the narrative's changing, and I think it's going to continue to change, and it's continuing to get stronger. So
and it's due to books like this, and this is what I'm trying to say. It's the importance of reading a book like that and hearing Shanice talk about when her father shows back up at a period of her life, and when she expects him to show up and he doesn't show up, and how that affects the psyche. As a man reading that will make you think, like, I didn't even think that would have affected even the dads like my generation who are trying to be great dads. Again, those who haven't seen it, my children ask me, am I a good dad? I always say I'm not a good dad. People say, don't say that. I don't look at the world like that, because I'm doing the best I can with what I've got, but I'm not. When I was younger, I was trying to outshine my dad, and this is what I'm saying now. I'm getting a different perspective from reading more books and really processing what life is. There's no judgment on what came before me. I'm not trying to outshine you. I'm trying to learn from where you failed and where you dropped the button, and I don't want to be a good dad and then turn around like, for me, I don't think it's masculine to be saying, I'm a good dad because my dad wasn't. I don't even think that's masculine anymore. At a point, that's where my mind's shifting to. I'm like, but it's only from reading books like this which has allowed me to look at it from a different lens and understand that our history is Windrush, from the Windrush era. So this book for me, like I said, it's an eye-opener because I'm not a female females are not always transparent. And people are not always transparent when they're telling their stories. You've been very open in telling Shanice's story. So you say it's compelled by all of these people. So what did you do? Did you talk to a group of females from that era to get their experience? How did you go about it?
This is just like, so I didn't specifically go out to people and say, I want to find out about this subject or that subject. It's just life. So what I've seen and heard growing up, it's just going back to those things. So, you know, like growing up, I would have heard my aunt talking about, oh, remember when Granddad was getting run out of this area with stones by the racists and things like that. So that's when I would go back to her. You know, you told me a bit about that. Tell me a bit more about that. So I'd go to my mum and my dad. Tell me a bit more about the blues parties you guys used to go to. What was it like for you? What music did you listen to?
Yeah.
So, you know, like our era was U Channel. We didn't have YouTube and all that.
No, actually, it wasn't U Channel. That's
U
our
Channel.
kids. That's I think we were a bit too old
U
for
Channel was us. Secondary schools and that. U Channel was definitely our era. Yeah, that was when.
I'm a granddad. I was a dad. I wasn't even listening to you. I thought I was old. But yeah, that was our era. That came with music on TV.
Music on TV. So that's. But like speaking to my mum and my dad, they were like, no, we used to have one. I think it was David Rodigan. I say it in the book. One weekend he played his show on a Saturday. They'd all go to one house to put on that one radio to listen to that, and they're all having their own little vibes and creating their own atmosphere. And you know, they didn't have raves. They had to have illegal raves where they're hiring out a house. Those are the good old house parties. You know, the ones you may even have been at as a kid, under the table or upstairs in a room. So these are the things that they done because they didn't have access to the stuff. You see what I mean? So the whole era, it all sort of intertwines with what we've gone through. We're still, I feel like now, it's only now that we're all on the same sort of level, even though we've still got an unfair advantage. You know, we haven't got the same advantage as other people. We're still got the same platforms and opportunities to create our own. So
this is where the first chapter, sorry people, is foundation. This is the foundations of Shanice, the background where she comes from. And then Kemet, she begins her own life. You mentioned Kemet Youth Club. And when I read this the first time, I thought, I know this place. I'm sure I've been there. And I was like, of course I've been there. This is in Archery by the youth club, by the boxing club. Because we used to go there as Hackney kids, we used to go out there. So I'm saying everyone's story is even intertwined.
Yeah.
And we don't know it. I think due to social media, everyone's realising that they're connected, but this story made me realise, Kemet, that's the same story from a female's perspective. Yeah. How was they looking at it? So a male may go out to a rave, I don't know, and be anxious of beef, be going to look for girls, be all of this stuff, but then the girl, you don't really know what she's contending with. So reading this book opened my mind. You might think, and even when you were young, you might have thought, when I wrote my own book, I might have not, no, we don't know what was. So this is, again, your transparency has allowed me to enjoy this book tremendously because, you've just been totally open about who you hang around with and the things you were getting up to and what you got passionate about. Well, not yourself, so Shanice was passionate about. And Shanice sounds very passionate about music, like many girls. Rest in peace, Sister Scarface, never forgotten. I know you knew Bianca very well. And I feel when I read this reminiscences of Scarface in this book, if out of all of the 50 girls you tried to marry, or however many girls you tried to put into one character, I feel the essence of Bianca when I got to the music part. I felt like, right, this is a memory I have. People like Shavreen, did I say her name right? Hornsey Girls, all the Lady Pineapple, her name was like the whole musical, and I'm like, right, I'm a part of this story, but I'm not a part of this story,
Yeah.
but I'm a part of the memory that you took me somewhere.
Something happened. You remember I was there.
I remember, and even if I wasn't there on that day, I might have been. Who knows?
Yeah, you might have heard about it.
I'm like, this is what Deneal was getting up to.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that for them. So to all the guys who think, yeah, you just read a book about the streets and all that, guys, man, if you want to open your minds to how the sisters grew up, this is it. Even if it's not from your area, if you just want to know what the sisters went through, yeah, this is definitely the book. Love, Money, Music's definitely the book, people. So yeah, do you want to tell us a bit about the early days of going out raving, and
Yes.
without saying too much as well?
So our days, I don't know if you remember, so the first sort of raves were like Ali Pally, they put on the under 18 raves there, then we had like the Palace Pavilions, the temples. I didn't talk too much about the early raving days in there, but it touches on it to make you know, like, that's what we was doing. So
when you say early, because again, the goalposts are shifted.
yeah,
Our kids would be 15, 16, saying, Mum, I want to go out, Dad, I want to go out to rave, and be like, oh, what do you mean? Where you going?
yeah,
We thought our parents were strict, but myself, and I'm not saying this brag, I was raving in year 6, year 7, and my mum didn't know about the year 6 one, but year 7, she knew I was getting house rave. But there was a whole heap of other year 7 kids in the rave when I was there, maybe not much, but year 8, year 9, but then it became common. Raving was my thing.
yeah.
I retired at year 10, 11, I was like, oh, this is boring. People going down the 80s, I'm like, yeah, but we've been raving everywhere.
No, I wasn't allowed to rave like that. So
Okay,
maybe as
maybe
guys, you were
see?
allowed to rave like that. So
I don't want to say too much. People,
year
but
7,
yeah,
I'd be lucky. So year 7, that would be if I was going with someone's older sister and my mum's picking me up and bringing me back. So whereas everyone just making their own way, no, that wasn't for me. I wasn't allowed. So I wouldn't say I got into not free raving, but where I'm saying to my mum, I'm actually going to this place and she's accepting it. I would say probably year 10. So when you retired, I was just starting in that era. So again, I don't know what you was doing, but
guys, this isn't about me, but I'm just saying that I remember vaguely, I thought, I want to see yourself Bianca, someone like Bianca being in the raving year 7, in Ali Pally exposure. You just said the rave. If it's 97, 96, or Ryan, whoever, we're all there, Bianca's there.
Yeah.
Other Bianca Hornsey girls, like, this is my memories as a Hackney guy. I'm not from that area. I'm not from North London. I'm from East London. So the fact that I remember those people from those circles, I'm like, hold on a minute. You lot was out there raving from
everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story of walking back from Stratford Rec. So even though we used to go, so our rate, think we're 15, 16, we're going to raves in Stratford. No way of getting home. We're all walking back to Tottenham. So this is when I'm staying at friends' houses and stuff like that. So I feel like that era was fun and it was carefree, and I don't think it was dangerous. I wouldn't say it was dangerous. I don't feel like we felt we was in danger at them times.
As females, would you say?
Do you know what I feel like? You know, like as the collective of the groups that we were around, I feel like you were protected because you may not be with that person, but if something happens, you know that someone's going to be like, there's guys, you know, like our sort of group of people who'd hang around. If a mad, crazy man ran up the road and troubled one of the girls, that wouldn't happen. Do you see what I mean? So I feel like we was protected within ourselves. Let's put it that way. But I feel like we felt we was much older than we was actually were, because
everyone thought they were big.
We're looking at our little kids now, 15, 16. To us, they're babies, but to us, we was big.
People, when I say year 10, they were whining and grinding. For all the young kids,
I don't know about that.
My daughter's 16. I don't want to tell you any lies. Yeah, your dad's told you already. I've seen people younger than me whining and doing it, and I've got no problem with certain things and having fun. But the kids of today, I'm like, do they even know how to have fun? Do they even, at Carnival, big up my daughter as well, Ren, a couple of them was out there having fun. I'm glad to hear that they behaved responsibly and had fun. I saw a lot of young people having fun at Carnival this year. And it kind of gave me a little hope that what was in us is in them. That if there was more under 18 raves, if there was more,
if there could be
youth clubs or more.
But can we go back to the fact of, in our days, I know obviously from prison of the streets, this is what I mean, I've had a complete different outlook of life. So when I said to you, like, I would say to my mum, no, in my days, the boys, they weren't getting in trouble. And I don't know what you guys were doing. So obviously, like, once again, just like Shanice was oblivious. Shanice was oblivious.
Let me even add a point to that. Shanice was so oblivious for me reading this.
Yeah.
I was hoping that none of it was based off you. When you told me that it was based off you, I was relieved. I was like, whoa. Because I would want to strangle this girl. Because you're getting caught up and you're blind to the fact that people like myself ain't bad.
But we're walking with you not knowing that
it could actually you might get shot or stabbed.
Exactly, because I say to
like, or you get caught up in the madness, and as a father looking at it, and that's what I'm saying, I'm a bit more. So I say to my daughter, like back in the day our parents would say, I'm a bit loose with it as well. I want to know who the friends are of your parents, and then my mum became loose with that from a young age anyway, because I had too many friends, you can't know who the friends are. You become loose with that, but she knew the ones from young infantile. But then I'm like, I want to know who the kids of the friends are now, because my age, when we were going out raving at 16 and getting into beef, I know you said that your mum didn't know, but what Shanice's character was, to find out later, is that everything that glitters isn't gold.
No.
And maybe because, I don't know, I would say she was sheltered from understanding how dark the streets can get, and how dark it is outside for people who, and that's why I say Prince of the Street's about being on the street early. It's about when you're outside from 11, it means you grew up on the street. You grew up on the street, you look growing up in, like you're a street rat. That's what I mean, you're out there, you're just catching trains all over the place. So that's why I know these places, that's why I know Tottenham like this. We was travelling everywhere. It wasn't, and I think more boys were doing that. If I'm honest, Brixton, Peckham, Halsden, like, if I remember as a child going Trocadero in year 7 with the whole of London, every black boy was there fighting each other or playing games, one of the two. But then there would be a few girls there, but you could tell those girls wasn't being raised like a Shanice or like yourself or other characters that you mentioned in the book who was being pulled back from.
Like, I didn't have time to be going Trocadero in year 7 because there was not enough time that was allowed out to go from North London to there. So those sort of things aren't written in the book. It's very...
Yeah, I get you. Trocadero was a lot of... I saw a lot of girls there. I remember seeing Brixton girls. But the point, what this book has taught me and opened my eyes to, like, different, without saying too much about it, the experience you girls have, especially girls who are raised in the same so-called ghetto communities, or labelled ghetto communities, when they're really just ethnic. The experience you have once you're kind of parented well keeps you inside, keeps you protected to a degree, but then as a parent reading this again, I also had a secret fear that I can't see or watch everything.
No.
And once they do get out in those 3 hours, they're still associating with the likes of the younger me. And that was a hard thing
and
to do.
The ones that are locked up are the ones who are more naive to it. So there's the good and the bad of being locked away and not seeing a lot of things and hearing a lot of things that when it's there in front of you, you're not even seeing the dangers because you're thinking life's a bed of roses and sweets and butterflies, and it's just not that.
That's what I saw with Shanice, and that's what frustrated me about her.
Shanice had to grow within the book to learn that stuff, whereas some girls were finding that out from very early on. She didn't find that out very, very early on.
Yeah, she didn't. But just like every other girl that I remember, even though she wasn't going out late, you go to school. And when you come back from school, from what I remember from my experience going to school in North London, which connects with your experience, there's a place called Topplewood Green. I read in here Sega Park, which is another place where we used to congregate. I'm sure our parents wouldn't know that that's where a lot of the chirping goes on.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the numbers get exchanged. That's where a lot of the hanging out. And why did you get home late from school? Traffic or whatever it is.
Or you just say you go to a club. See, this is where the younger girls will do it. So whereas some can get home at 5 o'clock and that's fine, my mum's working, but I still have to phone her when I get in so she knows I'm at home. So it's just a thing where you create clubs. So this is where, once again, because I'm not allowed to now do this, I'm going to do something so I can be at Tops till there where I am going to be able to go. All my friends are now going on the 67 down to Tottenham. That's not my direction. I want to go that direction because that's where everyone's going. So Tops, like you said, that's where everyone, I think anyone from North London, Hackney, Edmonton, wherever you're from around the surrounding areas, would know Tops, you would have gone to Tops, not just once or twice, it would have been a thing. You know when you're going there, you know the days when everyone's going Tops, you know when Tops, you might go to Tops, oh, where is everyone? Something else is going on.
I don't think a lot of people from Hackney knew about Top Wood Green.
Okay.
Yeah, a few people, Rowdy Budge came out one time, but a lot of people didn't actually know about it as a spot after school. I think it's got to be your area.
So Tops, obviously, the reason why I would say was a major point. I don't know when I think it was when the McDonald's got built. I think that's when it was a start, and they got rid of the market.
Yeah, there was a market there before, yeah.
Then
it was still lively when the market was there.
See, those days I wasn't going there. I was in Edinburgh Green those days before. So Tops is like, obviously, everyone has to go there to get their bus. That's the connecting part. So at some point, everyone's passing through there. Don't get me wrong, we probably could have caught our bus a bit up or a bit down, but no, we would have go.
We could have caught our bus at Turnpike. We didn't need to go to Wood Green.
We didn't need to, yeah.
Me and my mate Mark didn't ever need to go to Wood Green to get home from school because Turnpike Lane, yeah, as you know, you already know. So yeah, it was the space to link up. So again, hearing that from a girl's perspective, because from a boy's perspective, you're just thinking, right, bare girls come to this bus stop, in your mind you're thinking this is the spot to leave.
Yeah.
You're not thinking that they're probably trying to go and meet you as well. In some cases you start getting older and you realise, oh, she's going out of her way, and you didn't notice that some people wasn't, but they still come in here. You're just like, right, everyone comes here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. And as a parent, again, I have to keep going back to being a parent. I'm a bit distrusting because I know the stories back in the day. I'm very, so when any of my daughters used to say to me they're going out or they're going to this club, I'm like, make sure you're at this club and don't make me see you where you're not supposed to be, because every trick you can think of, I've got friends.
I've done it, seen it.
I've got friends. But reading this opened that to another level, because you can suspect what you think and then you can read it from a different, just a transparent mind and open story. And you said that this is a compilation of one individual, which means a lot of girls had similar mindsets to Shanice. And then there was a bit of colorism issue in this book, being pretty, standing out. There was a lot of issues in this book which I believe Shanice faced, that and just naivety with guys, even meeting guys, not knowing from a young age who she's with. And that's something, because again, as a father, I've tried to warn my children, like, be careful who you get with, you know.
Yeah.
Because a smile isn't always what you think it is, and you don't know who you're with. You need to do your research, and if you look for certain guys, then don't expect them to not treat you like a guy from that background would treat you.
Yeah.
So yeah, this book really dwelled into some really needed topics for the young people. Shanice is a brave girl. Yeah, I really don't know where to go with that. But yeah, after Kemet, so we were doing the teenage ages, she gets a bit older and she tries to follow her dreams. So Tops of Wood Green is the start that she starts. So before that, Trapstar, I won't even go into each chapter, but Trapstar is a guy again, and whipped chapters like names of whipped, Trapstar, dirty money, without saying too much, is an indication to what is about to happen in the next few chapters, and living the fairy tale. But Shanice was always a dreamer, and again she reminded me of girls like, rest in peace, Bianca Scarface. And there was lots of them at our age who I thought would make it.
There's so much talent.
If you ask me the truth, I thought would make it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still confused as to why a lot of those people didn't, and some people did make it. But what I liked about Shanice is the way you talked about her dreams. So could you explain a bit about her dreams to me, please?
Yes, so from the first page, Shanice is described as someone who always wanted to make it. So it says, like, you know, dancer, singer, actor, whatever. She didn't know what she wanted to do, but she knew she wanted a big house, nice cars, nice clothes. She wanted that life. So no matter where she stared off to in the book, it always came back to how is she going to make that life come. So obviously music's her passion.
Yeah.
Just like it was for a lot of people in them days. Loads of people we know used to MC, we used to all go back to back and whatever. The opportunities, I don't believe, were there, because this is real. Like you said, why didn't certain people make it? I don't think we had the opportunities that are available to young people now. Like the platforms weren't there. So, like we said, there was U Channel, but you need the money to get your video on U Channel, all that stuff, you know. So the closest we sort of got to having that little limelight was stuff like pirate radio stations, so like Heat FM and stuff like that. So Bianca, rest in peace, she was actually the one who introduced us, and a few of us used to go there and do our little MC stuff in there. So
that's that Heat FM, right? Yeah,
Heat FM. So that's in Tottenham. We used to go. This is like, you know, studio mad. Once again, not knowing where you're walking into, not even know what studio is, but you're just going in there, doing a little thing, and that's how you sort of made your name. Shanice tried to push her dreams from young, so that's all she's doing throughout it. But her problem was getting sidetracked. So a lot of the time she could be on a path and go off, and you can say, like I said, we didn't have the same platforms, but there are people, like I say, who are my age group, our age group, who have made it. And those ones were the ones that were really, really putting in the work. There's a difference of putting in for a bit and then going off track to really zoning into that, knowing that's what you're going to do and do it. And that's why they got there sooner in life. Do you see what I mean? So
also, again, 100% with you, but the making it part, I thought that's typical of young people making it, wanting to be famous, and I thought that's a lot of, like, it's the whole thing, American thing, you're either going to be a basketball player, a rapper, or whatever it is. And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, this is our typical aspiration, this is our dreams, but we need to know that making it comes with more than just, what's the word, status or fame, so to speak. I think everyone wants to be famous, and I think in the next generation that has kind of followed as well.
Yeah.
Where everyone's always putting up pictures of themselves or videos on social media and just wanting it to be liked and pretend that they're not reading that they've got 1,000 likes or 1,000 comments, and you know you've got 1,000 likes and 1,000 comments, you've read 1,000 comments, that's why you posted yourself with next to no clothes on to get those 1,000 likes. So it's become sexualized, it's become, I struggle to go on social media now because I'm like, I can't scroll down without seeing someone doing something flirtatious or what. I'm like, can I just be on social media and see pictures, and that's cool, and I'm like, this is...
It's your algorithm, so whatever you're clicking on, that's why it's pushing you to that.
Guys, it's my fault. I must be clicking on the wrong things. Yeah, I need to stop clicking on those pictures then. Thanks for that, so but this is the
If you scroll past really quickly, it won't show you it. Unless they're your followers that are... So, I don't know. That's another subject.
That sounds like an Usher confession, but that ain't even really a reality. But cool, I get people trying to be famous in any, what's the word, capacity. And it's a bit, I don't know. Again, Regent Shanice's story, I was drained, I was like, it was what people said to me when they read my book. When are you going to get it and come off the street? And Shanice, it was more like, when are you going to get it and first of all think about the guys you're going for? That was the first frustration. And that, your talents are your talent. Always follow your dreams, always say that. But fame isn't the only place where it's at, and she did show signs of that as well. I won't say too much. But making it is sometimes just paying the bills. Sometimes making it is peace of mind. That's the biggest form of making it, because people make it have all of that stuff and go crazy. Some of the expectations, some of the things we go with on them making it, I think a lot of them went crazy because even in this book, I don't know who this girl's related to, but I think, like I said, I see Scarface, I see a lot of other people, and I think, imagine the pressure on those people from early. People expected them to make it because they were going out MCing confidently.
And everyone knew they had the talent.
They were better than a lot of the people.
But I feel like they just needed that shot.
They were better than a lot of people that made it. A lot of people, and this is why I said talk about the ones who did make it, it's not always because they worked harder. Sometimes they...
Like I said in the book, they knew a guy who knew a guy. It's there. It's also there. It's literally, those are all the different ways you can make it are there. And what opportunity you get. Like, there's people that have made it that are less talented than people I know who haven't made it. Do you see what I mean? So, and like, I always put it this way: Beyonce could put a song out, the same song as Louise from Tottenham, and Adele will go, and Beyonce will go number one. Louise wouldn't, because she's just known. So it's not always about your talent. After a while, it's not just about your talent. Do you see what I mean? So
I do,
it's hard,
definitely.
but
So for me, but the pressure on when you have that talent, and I think that drove a lot of people to a hard and a rock place as well. See, and that's why I say the pressure on making it or not making it. So for me, love, money, music. Making it for this book, Prison to the Street, if you like, making it is success. What defines success? Successful that I'm one person who's read this book, and I'm like, from the one person who's read it, I've learnt a lot. So if you was an author who only sold one copy to one person, like myself, who came back and said that, would you be satisfied with that?
said what, sorry?
If I was the only person who read your book, and I was the only person who gave you feedback on it, would you be satisfied with that?
With what you got from it, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, so that would make it successful.
Yeah. From a male as well, reading it, because that's what I wanted to do. Obviously, females know this. They know the story, but they're going to relate to it more. Whereas for a male, it's like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to do, as well as not only you, because like older people have read it, like that come back to me, like friends of my mum and stuff, going, oh, is that what you lot used to do when you used to go there? And I go, not me, Shanice. Yeah, but that's what they used to do.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
So you're seeing even, okay, so that's what you guys, that's your era, that's what girls used to do, that's what you used to do, like.
That's what I was trying to
That's what you used to think, so.
It's history. If it's not told, then the message is missed.
And like I said, reading your book, when I read your book and I was reading the male perspective, I was thinking, like I said, those are the parts that weren't on the street, that was like just you and your girl or whatever, those are the parts I was drawn to, and I was relating to that. So I wanted males to relate to it from a female version also. So yeah. Yeah,
I loved it. I've not got much to say about it other than loving it. What's some of the feedback you've got outside of since it being released at the book launch? She had an amazing launch the other day at Shoreditch as well. Big up, I forgot his name, MC Maxwell Ranger. I saw him the other day at your launch. You know that I've got a delayed reaction.
Yeah.
You know, only clocked like the other day that was Maxwell. And it took me a minute because I saw him. I see this guy.
I know this guy from somewhere.
Because I came in and I said, I was looking around, it was a beautiful setup. Nice little spot in Shoreditch. And I came and I saw all these faces, and when I came, the first face, I think it was his face. Came down the stairs and I looked at him and I thought, I know this guy from somewhere, but my mind doesn't. I always think it's local from there.
Yeah.
I nodded him and I would have bigged him up with his talent. I'm not one of them people who don't give roses to your face. I saw Wiley, big up Wiley, I saw Wiley the other day at the studio, told him to sweet. I was busy, I was like, you know you're a legend, right? Yeah. You know, in case nobody don't want to do it. I don't even like grime.
These are our people.
I don't even like grime, I like garage, more of the Maxwell D and the Heartless Crew, more Heartless Crew, that's the era I grew up. But I will tell you to your face that you're a legend, so even Bush came in and had the same conversation, so it's being able to be transparent and say as it is, I love stories that don't do the holding back and with withstanding information which could help you understand what that character was really going through. And that's what I liked about it. That's why I said, as a piece of literature, it was able to go beneath the layers a little bit. And I know there's more layers to go underneath, but I'm just saying I was able to go underneath the layers to bring you into the story. So yeah, beautiful piece of work. I'm not finished with this book yet, but I do want to ask when I'm talking, do you plan to write any other books? And if so, are they from the perspective of Shanice, or is it going to be more personal this time, or is it going to continue to be fictional?
I think Shanice's story is done, because Shanice, what I wanted to portray with Shanice has been portrayed, you know, like following a dream, pushing forward, and what will happen if you do or don't do it, and the paths you take. I feel like there will be another book, but I feel like it's going to be still relationship based and things like that. But I think I'm maybe giving a side of male and female perspective on the relationship. So one relationship, so we're going to be more focused on one relationship, and male and female perspective of it.
Beautiful answer. The reason why I asked, because I can see a whole line of books coming from you on this type of relationship writing. Because again, as the reader, you connect to it. There's layers. You're able to, I can't explain it, bring the reader in, draw the reader in. And I know if you're doing that based on a young girl, how would you find that doing it with other characters outside? But you said you want to go into writing from the male perspective, and that's what I'm looking forward to see. Because yeah, you've got away with words, and Shanice is, it's complicated. When I got to the end of the story, I'm not going to say it sounds stupid, and I thought, right, I'm not going to say too much, and I thought, this how it ends. And I'm thinking, this how it ends, and I was like, I hope that's what happened. Mm-hmm. That's all I could say. I was like, I remember calling you, you're like, yes, not my story. I'm like, for flip's sake. So it played on my head, I couldn't really make sense of the ending for me, because I was like, this isn't a real story, but it felt so real. It felt so real, and I was like, but that story is real. Let me not say it's a real story, because it's not. It's a real story based on,
it's inspired by,
Inspired, so it's a real experience by multiple and just extracting. And I'm like, yeah, definitely. I hope she got that ending, is what I can say, because she deserves that ending based on the story. And it's not a colour purple, people. Sometimes I talk in a tone, I'm a bit sedated right now, I'm on medication, I'm sounding drowsy, I get that. It's not a story of depression and trials and tribulations, it's not that, but you get to see the evolvement of Shanice as she's going through those trials and tribulations, and you get to feel at home with the book. You get to walk in her shoes, and you laugh with her, you cry with her, you get frustrated at her if you're anything like me. You get frustrated with someone who's not figuring out something that even in our young age we wouldn't have figured out ourselves. So yeah, this story is very innovative, to say the least. I want to get onto the last parts of the book. Shanice seems to be very spiritual, and it seemed like when she was coming forward, she was always getting tested to go backward. Leap of Faith is one of the chapters in the book. What I liked about Shanice's story is when she finally took that leap of faith, when she finally believed in self, when she finally said, you know what, I can do this. And also I loved her family support, because some of, I won't say too much, but some of the stuff she went through, sometimes your family, big up the women in Shanice's life, man, seriously, man. When I read that part, I was like, you lot.
And you know what, without you saying, I know what part you're talking about, and someone actually came to me and she said, when I read that part of the story, it brought tears to my eyes, because I wish I had a family behind me like that. There were so many times I was in that situation, and I wish I had someone to come and help me, and there was no one to help me. So I'm not going to say, you know, but you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, and that was quite touching for me as well, because that person was close to me, and and obviously that subject I talked about that's domestic violence. There's loads of people that have experienced domestic violence. It may be just a slap. Some people, it might be a glass bowl in their head, but I've had friends, many friends, that have been through it. So for her to say that, it just really, it mattered to me, because it meant that I touched on and got what I wanted to get from it, you know.
It's almost weird, I didn't need to read your book to know that those are my fears as a father, to know that those things would happen. Yeah. Because I've got friends as well, beautiful females, and even the females that haven't told me things, I know who have been through things just from the way they behave. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want my daughters to go, and you can't protect anyone from everything, and that's another wind up. Whether you're a present dad, whether you're a present mom, whether you're coming from a loving home, doesn't matter. The world is the world. So it was just again an eye opener, just to like, alright, cool, teach these young sisters to be cautious with love. And not only that, the men who do domestic violence, I've said it 1,000 times, I'm not an advocate for that, man. I don't believe in it. I don't have anything else to say. I'll say something a bit personal. I think I've said it before, and it might sound wrong. Rest in peace, Grandad. I love you, man. Don't know you. I don't remember you. I love you. Grandad was killed when I was younger. rest in peace, Nanny, she raised me. I heard there was domestic violence in my family. I heard my grand featured in a book under an unknown name, but black people don't like to take pride in those things, and that's how we have to operate. We couldn't be transparent. That's the history of black people in writing. That's why I say this is historical time. We're a group of authors from a black background doing something in this country which is going to be remembered in 100 years' time. But we're not here. It's historical. It's like the Harlem Renaissance. It's the London Renaissance, if you like. So my gran and my granddad had domestic violence, and I heard that. I don't want to say too much. I heard my grand done him, got him one time, did him over, and I was well chuffed. And some people say, but Rob, that's extremely violent. Why would you be proud of that? Like, I watched Tina Turner as a kid with my mum and my gran. I watched Colour Purple with Tina Turner, and I saw their facial reactions. They never needed to tell me at the age of 5 that they had been abused by me. I already knew. So for me, it's like, it triggers me when those type of things happen. And as a dad, I'm like, alright, you can't protect, but you can educate by sharing a book like this where you can't talk to your children. I could definitely know it all. Alright, cool, give them love, money and music. What's the point of me trying to keep stressing and talk to you?
That's the thing in there.
You won't even know from the title what it's about. Go and read that book. And when you see the cover of the book, there's a sister called Shanice who looks exactly like yourself or have the same features. So that's what makes it beautiful as well. So I'm like, the cover, the story, and as a parent, all the loving fathers, all you black men out there that are extremely good dads or wanting to be, or even terrible dads, it doesn't matter. And all you dads, just get this book, and if you're a terrible dad, give this to your daughter. Make you a decent dad, trust me. It won't make you a great dad, but give this to her. Give it as a guideline. Jokes aside, like a guideline. It makes you a better father to give her a guideline. And a lot of these young girls growing up are under immense pressure, and they can't always voice. They're not always the best. They're feeling socially awkward. And yeah, this book, I don't know, man. This book is something that I think could help them unleash that social awkwardness. So, Love Money Music's got so much different angles I could praise to. I don't think I've ever given that compliment on a book before. It could help somebody with social awkwardness. Who gives that a compliment on a book? That's what this book does. Like, that's a weird compliment to give us. It could help children with their social awkwardness, because it would help a young female to look at that and maybe be able to express better what she's going through. So yeah. Anything you want to tell me about the reviews though that have been given so far?
Just mainly, I think it's just about who it appealed to. So a lot of the reviews are talking about making, sort of stepping back in time. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, like I remember this, I remember that. So I really, so
these people you know and don't know, sorry?
Both.
Cool.
So when people I don't know, it's even more special to me, because obviously I feel like my real people may not tell me the truth, even though some have said, I wanted you to. The main, not negative feedback, it's like positive criticism that people have said is they wanted me to go more deeper in. But for this book, so in regards to relationships with the guys, but I didn't want it to be sexualized. I didn't want to really put that. I feel like saying, you know, they close the door, that's enough. We don't need to know the ins and outs. I'm not trying to be
50 Shades
that's not my style of writing.
This
so
is not 50 Shades of Grey, people.
We can leave it to the imagination. But really, like I said, before the book was called Love, Money, Music, it was called Back in the Day. So that's where it started with, because I didn't know where the book was going. It was just talking about, just trying to bring back the memories of our childhood and our growing up. But then, like I said, the book took me so long, it got put down. I evolved in that time, and I thought, no, I need to bring this book full circle. I can't just leave it as back in the day. The readers need to know where Shanice can go and what she can do and what she can achieve, not just, oh, she went through that and that's it. Do you see what I mean? So the main thing about it is that people said they love Shanice's story, they love what Shanice went through and where she ended up. So that's it.
You know the sad thing about Shanice? Shanice's story is not typical. I mean, sorry, it is typical. That, so like a guy would say, man's been in jail before 16 or in jail before 18. Like I said to you, year 10 I was an OG. Raven didn't entice me. Raven as a kid. Been driving almost stolen cars year 10 and all that by now. We're trying to do other things. Like friends are selling crack and heroin at year 10. Some of them are smoking it.
See, you're saying friends were smoking crack and heroin. I didn't even know what crack and heroin was in year 10. Do you see what I mean? Some of our friends did.
Without you knowing,
I didn't.
I say maybe 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know the background and damages that they've got coming from their house. So this book just did a lot for me in a sense. I keep saying it did a lot for me because it opened my eyes to things that I wouldn't have looked from this perspective. I just couldn't have seen it from this perspective. And now looking at it from this perspective, I'm a bit more cautious to some of the things, but then I'm like, you know, it is what it is. Some things you have to just let be. You just can't control everything.
No.
You just have to educate, and that's why I think books are so important. All I can do as a father is give something like this to my daughter, and I give out books that I think are constructive to my daughters, for them to take something away from it. Even if it's the female who, this is what frustrates me the most about Shanice, it's every guy she got with. And I'm just like...
You would have slapped her. Well, not physically, but...
People said to me in the book, you defended everybody. When did you stop backing beef? There wasn't a single time people that didn't know me said every time someone would phone your phone, you'd be like, cool, let's go. And you know that people don't defend you.
Yeah.
So it's that sometimes that emptiness, that void of not having a father or not having someone, you yearn for it in other places. And that's why, even if you think you're a rubbish father, you don't have things, you don't have money which they're poor at, just show up. Just be present. Because we don't know if Shanice's dad had issues that he never told her. I like the fact that she became emotionally mature enough to understand where her dad was coming from. And I think that's what, again, it's a different perspective as a man letting your daughter down, seeing the effects it has on her, and yeah, when she tells you what it is, I think that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's needed. It's, again, we can learn, without that pill being served to us as fathers, I think we could read books like this beforehand to know. So I'm saying, knowledge is power, sorry, if it's applied. And I think that this book has a lot of knowledge which is powerful. And yeah, I just want to say proud of you for writing it, and I'm looking so forward to, we've spoken about other things, I don't want to tell people what's coming next, but if you write that book that we spoke about on top of this, that's all I'm going to say, man. Yeah, if you write that other book on top of this, it's going to be serious for you. I think that your name in the author world is going to make a lot of noise, including Love, Money, Music, and we need to make sure that this book here reaches the masses, and it will do. So one of the questions I need to ask you just from the jump, where can people find you? And do you deliver workshops in schools and colleges? Because I don't know if you do, I've never asked you before. And if you don't, would you be willing to do colleges and schools off the back of this book, and where people could find you if you're willing to do something like that?
So that was I never thought of that sort of stuff before, but since like I've had quite a few like late teen girls read it, so like that sort of age group, they've been really interested and given me a lot of good feedback. So it's actually made me think, you know what, this is something I would want to speak about to mostly girls. I think to speak about what the learnings from there would be teenage girls, so that is definitely something I'm going to go and do. So I'm going to try and get some contacts to speak to people in schools and stuff like that, definitely. And I'm available on email at the moment, so my email is on my Amazon page where you can read about the author, and my book's also available on Amazon at the moment, and also available to purchase personally. You can contact me by my Instagram.
So bookings mainly through email, you would say?
Yeah.
Okay. People, I'm gonna say this now, man. Deneal Francis is here, she's arrived, man. And I can't explain to you what this means because you have to read the book. Once you read the book, you'll see anyway. In time to come, you'll see what I'm talking about. Over the next few months, you'll see. Once the book gets more spreaded around people's houses and around the country, you'll see the feedback from not just the young people, the feedback from how useful this book can be to help forward, how can I say this? Help forward the understanding and confusions that our young children are facing in this confusing society and this thing we call life. Even as an adult, I'm still confused with life. Every day I'm confused. So let's always talk about young people like as if to say they're the only ones going through the growing and the learning. As an adult, every day I'm still struggling at this stage of my life. But things like this, if I had something like this for each stage, it would be a blessing, and it's a joy to read as well. It's not just a learning tool. I don't want to speak about it as it's a learning tool. This is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. It's a trip down memory lane, nostalgic feelings all over. Yeah, so people, Love Money Music, you know where to find Deneal. Instagram, email. Thank you for watching. Any last words you want to say to the people, do you?
No, just go check the book out on Amazon now. That's it, Love Money Music, Deneal Francis.
Love Money Music, Deneal Francis. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, sis.
Thank you, Robin.
Bless you, man. Bless you. Honoured. Guys, peace out.